Thanks, guys. Here I am at the BGSU Ice Arena, and I am with BGSU Alum Ray Crawford. Thanks for being here with us today.
Oh, it's a treat for me, Brittanie. Thanks very much.
So real quick, let's talk about your past here at BGSU, since you're a graduate of the class of 1993,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
All right, tell me a little bit about what you did while you were at BG.
Oh, well, yeah, I think a lot of it was the academics, certainly was a major part, and also the extracurriculars for me, the things outside of the classroom, being involved with BG24, being one of the first anchor teams to really kind of get that off the ground was a big thrill for me and a great memory. To be a part of the Bowling Green Radio Sports Organization, getting a lot of experience there. I just enjoyed campus. I'm originally from Dayton, so like anybody, like any student now, like yourself or anybody else, when you go off to college, it's an opportunity to grow up, learn a little bit about yourself, and certainly I have nothing but fond memories of Bowling Green. I always enjoy coming back, and it's great to see the excitement and energy of the young people on campus, and I really enjoy my opportunities whenever I get a chance to come back to campus.
That's great. I know we love having you. We just recently had the TCOM Career Day, and you're here, and what kind of things did you take part in while you were on campus?
Well, first I was able to arrive for the luncheon. I had some work commitments that got me here a little bit later in the day, but an opportunity to visit with students, I really get an enjoyment out of that. It's great to see the optimism and excitement in young people's eyes and their faces as they try to embark and get set to embark on this career, because it's a different industry than the one that I entered 20-some years ago. But if you have a passion for it and a love for it and ambition and great work ethic, you can certainly achieve a lot of things, and it's great to see that energy here on campus, and to be able to walk around and talk to folks about our business, and to get reacquainted with people I haven't seen in a long time, talk to some of the faculty and some of my other colleagues in the industry. That's always fun too.
Now, do you have any advice for students going into our field of what they should do getting started?
Well, it's a very competitive field. Broadcast media, even in digital media now, which is becoming more prevalent here of late in the last couple of years. You've got to be willing to work hard, sacrifice. You have to be patient. You have to be persistent, and you have to be dedicated and devoted to it. Just like anything else, to be successful in any other career, no matter what it is, whether you're going to be a teacher or work in computer science or be a doctor or a lawyer, broadcast industry is something you really have to dedicate a lot of time and energy to. Being creative, being willing to make mistakes, and learning from the good times and the bad times. You're going to grow a lot in the business. You're going to have good days and bad days. It's just what you make of those. It helps formulate and inform the person who you are, just like any level of life experience.
Now, being a BGSU alum and a hockey fan as well, were you able to catch any of the CCHA tournament games this past weekend?
I was. I mean, that was my March Madness for me, was watching Bowling Green in Michigan. What a great game there at Joe Louis Arena. Very historic building. The first time the Bowling Green hockey team has been there in so many years, and what a great run for BG. And it always reminds me, every time I see that brown and orange in the ice, it reminds me of my days at the Ice Arena and watching the Jeff Blakes and the Nelson Emersons and Jerry York coaching the team and all the great success that they had in the 80s. And it's exciting to see what the new coach and his staff has been able to do, and really re-energizing the hockey program here at Bowling Green, and I expect nothing but great things from this point forward.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on that too, because we were the 11th seed going into their tournament, and to be able to make it to the semifinals is huge for our school. The first time since 2001. Now, what do you think that does for our hockey program? Since of late, it's kind of been in question whether we should keep it or not keep it. So do you think this, like you said, re-energizes it a little bit?
Well, first, I can't imagine Bowling Green without a hockey team. For them to have that Cinderella story, which they had in the CCHA, was just a thrill. And I think it's going to go a long way in recruiting. I think the coaching staff is still trying to get their feet underneath them, trying to establish a program and build it back. And a run like that to get to Joe Louis Arena in the CCHA semifinals can only do positive things for the future of the program. And so now you just hope that they're able to build off of that momentum, get some solid recruits, and that will certainly help things in here and get the excitement back here at the Ice Arena.
And Ray, I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We have a young coaching staff, and a lot of our key players were freshmen and sophomore. For them to be able to have that experience their freshman and sophomore year is really key, and I think that we're going to be able to grow and just have better seasons from here on out.
Yeah, it's great momentum, especially when those young players can get that experience. That's something somebody, a junior or a senior, might experience, and then those guys leave. to have a freshman and a sophomore playing in that kind of environment, that kind of pressure in that CCHA tournament at that level, that only does positive things for them as a player, as an individual, and for a team as a unit, because now they've been exposed to that, and so in the future, nothing's going to be too big for them. So hopefully the sky is the limit, and next year we'll be standing here talking about a CCHA championship and a Mason Cup and going on to the NCAA tournament, and hopefully in the not too distant future the Frozen Four.
Now, I hadn't mentioned this before, but you are the on-air talent with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So just questioning you a little bit about the NHL, do you have any predictions going into the NHL playoffs?
Well, with the Blue Jackets being in the Western Conference, certainly we pay a lot of attention to the West, and this year is no different in terms of the competitiveness from top to bottom, with the exception of, unfortunately, the Blue Jackets, the Edmonton Oilers down there near the bottom as well. But things are really crowded in the middle. As everybody knows, the top 8 from each conference make it in, and just until here recently, between spots 7 and 11, you're looking at a win and a loss here from being above or below that cut line. So the West has been very competitive. Vancouver's back in it again. They're near the top. St. Louis has been a great story since Ken Hitchcock became their head coach back in November. And the East, you've got the same players out there. Sidney Crosby, as we speak today, is healthy and playing for the Penguins. The Boston Bruins can't count them out, especially when you have such great goaltending. And I think that's going to be key for a lot of teams, separating the teams that make it far in the Stanley Cup playoffs and those who might have disappointment early on in the early rounds is goaltending. You got a Tim Thomas and a Tuukka Rask, a great 1-2 punch there in Boston. And the same goes for Vancouver as well with Luongo and Schneider.
Well, thank you so much, Ray, for being with us today and taking your time to visit BGSU and be here for the students. And we had a great time having you at TCOM Career Day, and then giving a little bit of your knowledge on the CCHA and the NHL. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Always great to be back.
All right, and that's it for me here at the BGSU Ice Arena. We'll be right back with Falcon Center after this.